And we're live in three, two, and welcome everybody da, to a new episode in season 2 of the Planetmullins podcast. Thanks for tuning in today. I have a remarkable pianist with me. Please say hello to Yuko Mabuchi, everybody.
Hello.
Hey Yuko, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
It's so good to see you. Hey,
Good to see you
I
too.
got your email about your new video, and it's really great. I want to read from the video description on YouTube. First off, you just put it out at the end of July, and you've already got 62,000 views, which is remarkable actually for a jazz project, because usually the only things that gets a million views is a dog or a sandwich.
Yes, yeah, we try to promote it very hard.
Yeah, it's a really good video, and we're going to talk all about it. I'm going to put on my radio voice now and read from the description. Take a musical journey around the Caribbean. Enjoy the most breathtaking sights that have inspired this Caribbean jazz composition, blending several genres of island music into a unique musical tapestry. Caribbean Canvas is a tribute to the music, magical landscapes, and the many diverse cultures that make the Caribbean not only beautiful, but magical. Yeah, there you go. And your video is called Caribbean Canvas. So, how did you decide to make something about the Caribbean?
Well, I had a pleasure of visiting the Caribbean last year.
Hmm.
Yes, I've always loved the Caribbean music, island vibe, uh, reggae music, calypso, all of Latin music. And finally I had an opportunity to visit, and I fell in love more about the music and the people over there and the food I've never had before, those
Oh,
food.
wow.
And then especially the beautiful beaches. And I decided to do a project, some of mix Caribbean music with jazz,
Uh huh.
with my style. And yeah, the new project that we are working on right now and will be released in December. This is a Caribbean Canvas album. Uh,
Oh,
yes, the video, YouTube video, is released as a single and
okay.
titled Caribbean Canvas.
Wow. It's just incredible because when I was watching it, I was, kind of getting the vibe. It was like a smooth jazz piano vibe going along, and you're having a great time on the tops of all these mountains and stuff.
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, well, I just got really jealous because I thought, man, I want to go there so bad because when you see the travel, but we'll talk more about travel later. And then around 4 minutes into the song, all of a sudden you go straight into the reggae vibe and it gets super cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I always wanted to have reggae. I love the reggae feel, and then I wanted to put in my original music. And
Right.
yes, I finally have a chance to put together.
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting too because a lot of musicians enjoy the music of other cultures, but when they try and do it, they don't do it well. And it seems like you just like picked it up just in 5 minutes, and all of a sudden you're like a reggae
Yeah.
specialist.
Yeah, it was. It was. This song came very quickly. Yes, I wanted to. Definitely, I had to write tunes, and then this is one of from this project.
Oh, okay, so the everybody, if you want to check out her video, I want you to do it, but I want you to wait till the end of my show. Don't leave now. Don't leave now because we're just getting rolling. Her YouTube channel is Yuko Mabuchi, and there's a download link there. There's the video there. There's other videos with her band, and she's got a great band. Usually you work with a trio, right? Is that
Yes,
mostly?
yes,
Did you?
mostly yes.
Yeah, I like the format of the trio. I've done a lot of recording in that format, and it's nice because the piano kind of gets to be the lead instrument,
Yes.
And you said you have some favorite American jazz pianists too.
Mm. Yes, my favorite pianist. Yeah, when I began to study jazz music,
Hmm.
I listened first to Oscar Peterson. I loved his energy,
Good place to
beautiful
start.
phrase, yes. And then Monty Alexander, I like his island influence. He's from
Hmm.
Jamaica, and yes, I loved the mixed style and bluesy style. And Miles Davis, who are collaborating with some of the hip hop artists.
Uh huh.
Mm, yes, and so I found that a lot of possibility in music. You can create many ways to make music together. And so uh, also I fascinating for their improvised. I like to listen. I love the Harvey Hancock about his concept and solos. Mm.
Uh huh. Great. Well, the interesting thing first about Monty Alexander,
Mm.
I play for a really great flute player named Hubert Laws. And I've been in Hubert's band now about 30 years. And Monty Alexander actually invited our group to go to his club in St. Lucia. And
Oh,
I got to play on Monty Alexander's piano in St. Lucia with Hubert Laws. So
oh,
that was a good, it was just such a good opportunity. But to your point about, culture and unity, I I think what you're inferring here is that you can put a lot of things together in music that not necessarily the same kind of thing as like politics or government or other things that seem to divide people more than unify them. Because when you put just the music and especially instrumental music there and you combine these cultures, I think that's very healthy for all of the nations in the world now because what you're doing is you're celebrating the things that unite us instead of the dividing, right?
yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, well, that's really cool. And then, um, what was it like moving to America from Japan? Because when we talked about the cities in Japan and where you're from and stuff, I've played a lot in Japan, and I
Yeah, I
love.
envy you.
I mean,
I
it's
envy about
yeah,
when
it's
I
just
hear
a
about
well,
that.
I like the culture in Japan, and I liked the way that people um, are very respectful of each other there. And I even did an album called Tokyo Nights about my travels there.
Wow.
And the album cover is me sitting at the Tokyo Tower
Oh,
at the bottom.
old Tokyo Tower or new Tokyo Tower?
Well, this
Red
was
one.
in 1990, so
Oh,
probably
okay.
the old
Red one.
one.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so I love it. But you grew up not in the big city, right? You were in the country or something.
Yes, my hometown is called Fukui, Fukui Prefecture. This is my hometown is a very small prefecture and then small jazz, small jazz
Community.
community. Yes, not like big city in Tokyo or Osaka.
Oh, okay. Well, but it's interesting. How did you find jazz in the first place? Because a lot of people they find it through the radio or maybe their parents like it. How did you find it?
Ah, yeah. My father has a lot of collection of jazz and American pop, soul, and Latin dance music.
Wow.
He has a large collection at the home, and he always played our home and in the car.
Uh-huh.
And yes, and I was learning classical music when I was 4, because my mother is a classical piano teacher. So
Oh.
yes, so I understood I would study piano, but the father playing those music, and then I always feel very uplifted, and then how easy to listen, and body that naturally start to move. And then I started to interested to listen myself from radio,
Mhm.
and yeah, playing the CD, and then going to go to the CD shop and then buy the CD, and then so started to sneaking in, play around those sounds different with the classic, and
Right.
they have a lot of rhythm, swinging rhythm and bluesy sound. That's I very fascinated about those sound. Then yes, I decided to study jazz, that kind of against it my mother, because my mother wanted me to become a pianist, a classical concert pianist.
Right.
And we were very work hard. I know that I know when I was a young child, she very seriously about that. But I wanted to study those improvise theory, ensemble, and started to learning at the jazz music school in Kyoto.
Mm-hmm.
I was back and forth my hometown to Kyoto, and I've never lived in Tokyo, like Tokyo and Osaka, like a big city.
Mm-hmm.
When I had the opportunity play in Tokyo with my trio, and as a soloist in Keio Plaza in Shinjuku, I had to go to Tokyo the midnight bus and arrive in the afternoon and do the gig and back to Fukui in the midnight bus. Yeah, I was back and forth like.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, I've found in Japan, um, I've been at Keio Plaza, and I know Shinjuku and Roppongi and Aoyama and all these places, and I just think it's very safe. At least when I was last there, it was very safe if you're going to travel at midnight and go somewhere on the train or whatever. People are very friendly. It's very clean, and
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, so that's. But obviously, you've worked really hard. Now,
It was
how did
hard.
your hard work pay off? And then all of a sudden, you're in California. How did you end up in LA?
Yes. I had a great teacher in Kyoto, and my jazz piano teacher suggested me to go to music academy in Los Angeles. It's called Music Performance Academy.
Okay.
But that's the time I had a scholarship to go to Berkeley Music College of Music.
Oh wow! So you had to choose.
Yes, I had an audition. They had an audition in Japan, so I went to audition, and then I got the scholarship. But still, that's the time I did not have enough of a cost to cover my living in the most of expensive city. That's the time. So I decided to come to Los Angeles to learning jazz, and
Great.
came to Los Angeles, and so a little bit back, but I'm from a small town Japan, and I never lived in Tokyo, and if I study jazz more seriously, and then when I decided to want to become a professional international jazz pianist, that's the best way to move or study in the place was in America,
Mm.
where created jazz. So instead moved to Tokyo, and then instead to move to Tokyo, I decided to um, come to USA.
Well, that's so smart of you, because I remember when I was young, I had dropped out of college and I was on tour with a band at 19, and we were going around the United States, and we had stopped in Chicago, and anytime I would be in a big city, I would look up who the jazz piano teacher was, and I would take a lesson while I was in town. So when I was in Chicago, the guy who was the big deal in those days was named Alan Swain. And it was pretty cool to meet with Alan, and I'd saved my money, and I went in and I said, Alan, I'm a young jazz guy, and I played for him and everything. And he said, oh, wow, you play well and you have a lot of potential. What do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to I want to continue with jazz piano study and doing piano. And do you have any advice for me? What's your advice? And he says, how do you survive in cold weather?
Oh.
And I said, I hate cold weather. And he says, well, that means you have to live in LA. Because it was either New York City or Chicago, where it's cold and the weather is absolutely horrible.
Yes, yeah, for us.
So
yes,
bad.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that I'm sure you love about Southern California, too, is that, you can wake up every day here and you really don't think that much about the weather. Like, you're not having to put a coat on all the time.
Yes.
And you're not going out and, with getting the snow off the car.
Yeah, yes, that's a lot of work before I go to the work. Yes.
Yeah, it's too much work. But so you started, meeting people in Southern California, and then you ended up with this great band here and this great album.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, I have very fortunate to meet great, good people, good supporter, good musicians, good producer. I am very lucky to meet good.
Well, I just I want to thank you for coming on today, and I wanted to mention that I know several of the people that are in your band, and they're local studio and live heroes like Munyungo and Del Atkins and Billy Mitchell. So I know that you're in very good hands with your music and your projects. And if someone wants to contact you, as far as to do another interview or book a gig for you or something, what is the best way that people can contact you?
Please visit my website,
Okay.
yukomabuchi.com.
Okay.
There is a contact list. Usually we book for the California, in the California area, through Billy Mitchell. And for the international, and then all in the USA, is I have an agent, Maurice Montoya Music Agency. Okay,
so you have an email address at your website, and people can go to the website and they can find out about your other albums. You've done several other albums, and once again, everybody, Caribbean Canvas. And even if you listen to it or watch it with the sound off, it's incredible. Because there's so much, so many great places that are included. The scenes include Cuba, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Antigua, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, British Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, and St. Croix. It's an excellent project, and congratulations on all your success.
Thank you very much. Please
All
enjoy
right, folks.
news.
Well, that's going to do it for another episode of the Planet Mullins podcast. And you can find me in the podcast on YouTube at YouTube/Planet Mullins. And we're also on Spotify, Amazon, TuneIn, Audible, and iHeartRadio. So thanks a bunch, Yuko, and I'll see everybody next time on the Planet Mullins podcast.
See you next time. Thank you.